Right, so 7:32, so we won't keep people waiting. We'll get started. So welcome everybody to Platinum Travel's second inspirational travel evening. We are delighted to have so many of you. I've just looked at numbers. It's delighted, a huge turnout this evening. I think some of you were here last night and some of you are registered for some of our other evenings. So hopefully we'll have no duplication of things that we're saying, but one or two little things at the start will be the same, but for the rest of the evening, we are hoping that you'll be very, very inspired. And as you know, it's our river cruise evening tonight, and we've got two fantastic hosts with us this evening who I'll introduce. One is John Knight from Waterways. Give us a wave, John.
Hi.
And then we've got Brian Hines from Uniworld.
Good evening.
And then, of course, we have our resident Paula Cross from Platinum Travel. And give us a wave, Paula.
Hi.
I'm sure the process of elimination, they could guess which one you were, but there you go. And so Paul is going to be looking after everything in regards to all the Q&As and the chat box. So for the evening, if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to say, if there's anything you want to chat about, just pop it into the Q&A box or pop it into the chat box. No question is silly. Obviously, the theme tonight is river cruising, but if you have any questions generally about travel, you know, things that are worrying you, I know there's a lot going on in the world, just let us know. Tonight is all about inspiring. We're not going to talk about the negativity that's gone on in the last year. We know how dismal it's been, and the whole point about these evenings is to step away from everything that's going on and see what's going on in the rest of the world and make a plan for maybe late in 2021, 2022, and just get some ideas. These are all about inspiring ideas and finding out what you're interested in. So I'll just give you a little bit about Platinum Travel. Again, a couple of you were here last night, so you will have seen this already, but just to give you an overview, if you don't know us, we're delighted. We have an awful lot of repeat clientele, but we're delighted with new clients all the time. So welcome to old and new who are on this evening. We're here since 2005, an Irish company, family owned, and delighted to be award winning as well. As I said last night, the pictures on the screen that you see is when we won Travel Agency of the Year in November 2019. And that was just a pivotal point for us. It really was. And it was only 3 months before we started to get really hit by the COVID crisis. So we look at these pictures and it brings us back as to why we're here and what we started to do all those years ago. We have a great team here, a very highly experienced team. We're experienced in every area of travel, be it corporate, leisure, sports, groups incoming into Ireland. We're around a long time. I won't name the years. I think 60 or 70 years between the lot of us, even longer actually, if I really add up. So we've covered a lot of things. We do have a couple of niche areas that we look after now, but there's pretty much nothing we haven't touched in the travel world. We are constantly doing ongoing training, and this is really important to us. The world is changing all the time. 30 years ago, 15 years ago, there were destinations you would never go to. I mean, I'm sure the river cruise guys tonight will tell you river cruising is really taking off in the last decade. So things are changing constantly, and we need to upskill so that we know what products to offer our clients and to offer you guys new ideas. So we travel for the training and perk at the job, but they work as hard. We go to conferences all over the world, and we do an awful lot of in-house training with our suppliers and partners. And speaking of suppliers and partners, we only use the most reputable partners worldwide. This is extremely important. And the likes of Waterways and Uniworld here this evening, we need to sit back and know that our clients are very safe when they get there. There's no point in us making sure everything's good this end if they're not going to be looked after at the other end. So that's very, very important to us that they're looked after. It's not all about being the cheapest, it's making sure that they're insured, they have good health and safety, and that there's somebody there all the time. We're licensed and bonded by CAR. CAR stands for the Commission for Aviation Regulation in Ireland, and every travel agent and tour operator in Ireland should be licensed and bonded by CAR. We're a small industry, maybe we employ about 3,000 people. We would recommend that you always book with a travel agent that's licensed and bonded. Ideally, we'd love you all to book with us, of course, but we are very close with our industry, and a booking for our industry is a booking for everyone. So it's for your protection and your safety that you ensure that you book with a licensed and bonded travel agent or tour operator. And finally, we have a 24/7 emergency contact that we have on hand all the time. So no matter where you are, you always have somebody to look after you. And you know, if it's emergency while you're abroad, if it's emergency before you go away, that things are affected, there's always somebody here, so you can relax and have that peace of mind. So that's just a few bits and pieces about us, but I know you don't really want to talk about us anymore or know any more about us. What you really want to know is about these lads. So I think if I can just bring this back a sec, sorry, my screen is acting up a bit here. You can see that we have two amazing companies, Ama Waterways and Uniworld Boutique River Cruises. I'm not going to go on about it because these guys know their stuff backwards, but it's just the most stunning product. And if you want to learn more about river cruising, the difference between ocean cruising and river cruising, what's available on board, what you can do, these guys are going to tell you everything tonight. They're both very different products, very similar products, but they both have fantastic USP. So as we say in our office, we love them both the same. So we get equal throughout the evening. So that's
like your children.
Like my children, exactly, yeah. So, exactly. Well, I do have favourite children on certain days. So yeah, so I suppose unless the lads have anything else to say, will we kick off with you, John, and start with your presentation?
Yeah, wonderful. Let's just get the screen up.
You take your time there, Susan, and what we'll do is any questions as you go along, lads, just pop it into your box, and Paula will keep an eye on it, and we'll do all the questions at the end. Okay, so we're gonna say goodbye for now, and we'll talk to you in a few minutes. Thanks, John. Any problems, by the way, John, just give us a yell, or if we see anything, we'll let you know.
Yeah, Graham, no problem at all. Thank you, Kira, and thank you, Kira, Paula, Austin, for inviting us along this evening to have a chat to your wonderful customers about the world of river cruising. It's, as Kira mentioned, definitely one of those areas of the travel industry which has grown over the last few years. And hopefully myself and Brian will show you exactly why in the next 45 minutes or so. So first and foremost, my name's John from Ama Waterways. I'm the other side of the Bristol Channel over in Weston-super-Mare tonight. So lovely to see you all. It's grey and dismal here, so you're not missing anything either. I miss Ireland. I used to come over all the time. I tell you, I can't wait to get back over and see the guys, Paula and Kieran Austin. So looking forward to coming back very, very soon. But tonight is all about river cruising. First and foremost, positive message, because that's all about this evening. You know, river cruising is a very safe mode of travel. It's been deemed safe as well. We've been lucky enough to have some successful European sailings actually last year. So whilst things weren't great, at least we had 2 ships out on the Rhine River between July and November. And it meant that we could put a lot of protocols in place, health and safety protocols, so we know they work. So if we need to put these in place over the course of the coming months when we're cruising again, hopefully, we'll be able to do so. They're all tried and tested, all work perfectly well. And just a reassurance really that river cruising is a really safe way to travel. The other thing, which is exactly the same with Brian, I'm sure, is we're really flexible. You know, it's not a case of making a booking and losing money if it's not going to go ahead. So just again, to put your mind at rest, if you do decide you want to do a river cruise, we have optimum flexibility at Ama Waterways. So if you book something, you're free to change it up to 48 hours before travel with no charge whatsoever. So that's just something which we're giving to you for peace of mind. In the times we're living in, it's very difficult. So just to let you know that at the start. A bit about Ama Waterways then. What we're going to do, we're going to tell you a bit more about what we do as a company. I've got a virtual tour of one of the ships. Can't bring it into Dublin, but I can show you on the screen here anyway, some of the public areas, the staterooms, and we're also going to take you down the Danube River this evening. Some beautiful shots of places you can experience on a river cruise. And a little bit of a secret at the end, we've got a new product which we're incredibly excited about to Egypt and the River Nile. So we will tell you about that as well. All in about 20 minutes. I'll try not to go beyond that. Otherwise, Kieran might just cut me off. But we'll start now. I'll tell you a bit more about Ama Waterways. First and foremost, we are family owned, a bit like Platinum Travel actually, family owned operation. We've been around since 2002. Our owner is a gentleman called Rudy Schreiner. You can actually see him there in the picture with the glasses. Now we call him in the river cruise industry the godfather of river cruising. He was the first gentleman to establish river cruising in Europe, and he brought river cruising over to the States and also established it over where Brian, he actually used to work for Uniworld in America as well before he opened his own operation in 2002 with his wife, Christine, who you can also see in the picture. And we do have Irish influence in the company. one of the founder members, owners, was a gentleman called Jimmy Murphy. Unfortunately, Jimmy's passed away, but his son, Gary Murphy, who you can also see in the picture there, is also a co-owner of our business. We now have 25 ships sailing across Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Nile River in Egypt. We've grown massively. I mean, since 2002, where we just had the one ship, we now have 25. We own all our vessels and they're fully paid for. There's no debt to the business, which is obviously a very important factor these days too. They are award-winning ships and they're also incredibly spacious ships. When you get on board a river ship, the perception sometimes is they're quite small and pokey, but in reality, Brian will talk about this as well, they're about 135 meters long. Lots of room out there, lots of public areas, lots of deck space to enjoy. But the great thing is they're not taking many guests. You know, the maximum on board our ships is around about 140, 150. So plenty of room for everybody on board as well. And inside, they are amazing. I mean, they are 5-star products. This gives you an idea. What we do at Waterways, we're a very contemporary design ship. You know, there's different designs, all different river ships are different designs, but ours are very contemporary, very light, very modern, lots of beautiful colorings, lots of light coming into the vessels. Whichever public area you're in, you're going to get some fantastic viewpoints there. Lots of window space everywhere. It is a 5-star product, but we like to make you feel at home. So it's also very homely. We don't have any major dress codes. So it's kind of a resort casual in the evenings, daytime. It's, you know, whatever you feel comfortable in. Some public areas here for you. This is the lounge on one of the ships, actually, the Ama Christina. It is the focal point of the ships. This is where all the action happens. So right at the front, you have the observation lounge area. So if you want to sit at the front and you can see those beautiful views as you're sailing down the river, you can. The lounge area we use for entertainment in the evenings. It could be anything from a classical music concert to a ABBA tribute night or a rock and roll show. You know, there's all sorts of different things going on in the evenings. The all-important bar is there as well, and we serve afternoon tea. We do a sip and sail cocktail hour pre-dinner here as well, which is complimentary every single evening. We've also got other public areas. You've got the lounge area here. This is the library lounge. We've got gift shops. I think Brian might agree with this, but the fitness rooms on board the ships, they are quite small and they're probably the least used rooms on board the ships, but we do have the facility if you want to stay fit on board. Most guests prefer the massage and the spa treatments. We have that as well. And one of my favorite areas is definitely out on the deck, because what river cruising is all about is seeing those beautiful scenic places as you're going through these wonderful rivers of Europe. You know, the scenery is absolutely breathtaking as you cruise through. So what a better place to be than the swimming pool out on the deck. So we have got these wonderful pools on our ships. They've actually got a wonderful feature. It's a swim-up bar at the end. I'm not going to lie to you, they're not Olympic-sized pools, so you don't actually have to make much of an effort to get to the bar, which is a good thing. But it's a great place to relax, because if you're sailing the Danube, which we'll do a bit later on, in the summer, it can get to 30, 35 degrees. So it's really nice to have a cool down in the pool, have a beer, and soak up the beautiful scenery. So we have that on our ships. And then it comes to the dining. You know, ocean ships have always had accolades for incredible dining. It's exactly the same on the rivers. And at Waterways, we're partners to the Chambre d'Hôtesse. It's a French dining association. You can only be a member by invitation only. The food has to be of a particular high standard for them to even consider you. So we're really proud to be members of the Chambre d'Hôtesse. And the food, again, a bit of a difference with river cruising, and certainly with us, is the food is very sustainable. We use local farms, local producers, local vineyards for the wines. So you get a very authentic experience for the dining as well. And it's all about choice on the dining. You know, there's at least 2 restaurants on our ships. One of the ships, we actually have 4 restaurants called the Ama Magna. But most of them have got 2. You've got the main dining room, which is an open dining policy in the evening. 5 courses, a la carte menu, waiter service. Now, during the daytime, breakfast and lunch, it used to be buffet, but post-COVID, that's not going to happen anymore. You know, we've already announced the fact that we're no longer doing buffet. It will be done by waiter service, or we'll have action stations for you to go to get the food served to you for breakfast and lunch. But dinner is always a la carte in the evening in the main restaurant. Open dining, you can sit where you want, when you want. There's no problem there at all. And one other feature we have on our ships, and this is something extra special. If you want to celebrate a special occasion, this is a place to be. It's called the Chef's Table Restaurant. As you can see from the picture there, you've got these beautiful panoramic viewpoints all the way around. It's right at the back of the ship. It only takes 28 guests. On the top right, you can probably make out the kitchen area. So you can see the chef preparing all the food before your very eyes. It's a 7-course taster menu you're going to experience in here with a different wine pairing for each course. And it's completely complimentary. You make the reservation on board the ship, but all our guests will have the opportunity to dine in here at least once during your cruise. Really fine dining opportunity there. And accommodation-wise, in the old days of river cruising, the staterooms, the cabins used to be quite small, but certainly not these days. Our twin balconies, for instance, the one you see here, they're 235 square feet. 235 square meters would be absolutely huge. 235 square feet. It's about the size of one of the Silversea suites. So if you consider an ocean ship suite, it's very similar size for a twin balcony on our ships. And they've got the best of both worlds. So if the weather's not so good, like maybe in Dublin tonight or Meath even, or Western Sea from there, you've got on one side a French balcony. So you can open the doors, but you're sitting inside the stateroom. So you're kind of protected against the weather, but you can still let those fresh airs and breezes in. On the other side, you've got an outdoor balcony. So you can sit outside, enjoy a drink while you're, again, soaking up those fantastic scenic points around you. So the best of both worlds in our twin balcony staterooms. And one other feature which we have on our ships before we run that down the Danube River for you is the shore excursion program. Now, unlike a lot of ocean ships with river, all of these excursions are included in a fare. And at our Waterways, we have up to 4 complimentary shore excursions every single day in every single port of call included. No cost to this. Again, you book on board the ship. You can pre-book them if you want, but they're not capacity controlled, so you're always guaranteed to get on the one you want to. And they could be anything from, if you're feeling active, we do hiking programs, we do bike tours, we do active walking tours. But if you're feeling maybe less active, you have the coach touring program, visits to castles, stately homes. We do culinary demonstrations, culinary tours, and also the more important one of all, when you're sailing down the European rivers, you're going to see vineyards everywhere. So it'll be very rude not to attend one of these vineyards and have a bit of a wine tasting. So we do plenty of those on the excursion programs as well. But it's all included. No matter what you decide you're wanting to do, it's all there included for you. We do wellness programs as well. We've got a wellness host on board. So if you want to do things like yoga, Pilates, that type of thing is available to you. It's complimentary again. The most popular class we do actually, this one is for Paula and Kira to demonstrate later. We do something called champagne yoga, which is basically you've got to bend down in a particular way to actually get to the straw to soak up the champagne. So it's a good fun activity, but our most popular class, it's available on all our ships. And it's all about the destination now. So oceans take you to country. We always say this in the river cruise industry, oceans take you to those countries, but rivers really take you through them. If you're considering a river cruise, it really is the best way to travel when you're wanting to experience the culture of the country you're visiting. All those small towns and villages and local festivals you'll be able to experience on the river cruise. You also go through cities like, for instance, Vienna, your Budapest of this world. The ships dock right in the heart of these places to visit. Not to forget, obviously, that amazing scenery. So a river cruise really has something for everybody. And we do sail pretty much all the way through Europe. We do Portugal, we do the French rivers, we do the Rhine, the Minor Moselle in Central Europe. But the big one, the number one river, if you've never done a river cruise before, we always recommend this one. It's definitely the Danube. We call it the romantic Danube at our Waterways. It's a real true testament to this absolutely sensational river. It really has got something for everybody. And you can start your river cruise experience actually on the Danube, just off the Danube in the city of Prague, because we do a pre-river cruise extension, which is available. So it's 3 nights in the center of Prague. We include excursions, so you get to see the city. We do city tours, but you also get a bit of free time as well. We then transfer you down to Wilshofen in Germany, which is our own kind of unique little port. It's a very small town, very charming town, beautiful cobbled streets. But on arrival, we have this big marquee tent, and we put together our very own Oktoberfest beer festival. We have all the town's dignitaries, the beer queen, which you can see here in the picture. The locals are there, the whole ship are there, you know, all our guests are there, enjoying the beer festival atmosphere. It really is a fantastic way to start your cruise. Next up, we go to the town of Passau in Germany. Now, one of my favorite places are actually all the rivers I've been to. It's absolutely stunning. You've got the main town there, the old town on that peninsula, which you can probably make out on the picture. Right on the top left, you've got St. Stephen's Cathedral, which is absolutely gorgeous. Again, full of, it's a maze of squares and cobbled streets. You can do walking tours. We can do a bike tour around Passau as well. There's also a hike up to the fortress, which you can probably make out on the top right there. You can do a hike up to that fortress castle as well. It's right on the German-Austrian border, but a fabulous, fabulous place to visit. We spend all day there. Again, the ships are docked right in the heart of the town, so very easy to get on and off. We then move on to the city of Linz in Austria. It's the third largest city in Austria. What we do, we arrive in the morning, you get a brief tour, a couple of hours in Linz just to do a cycle tour, or again, a walking tour of the city of Linz. But the two major attractions on this day, you have a bit of a choice to make. You can either go to Český Krumlov, which is in the Czech Republic. It's a bit of a mini Prague. It's a UNESCO city, a heritage city, full of history, absolutely beautiful. Or we can take you to Salzburg in Austria if you prefer. So you've got the two different choices there. Salzburg, obviously home to Mozart, the Sound of Music. You'll get all of that in there, and also a bit of free time to do a bit of shopping in the city as well before you return to the ship. Next up, after you visit Linz, you cruise through probably one of the most majestic areas of Europe. It really is sensational. I hate this picture. It doesn't really do it justice because you have to be on the ship to experience it to its fullest. But the Wachau Valley in Austria, it's literally an all-day cruise. You're there all day sailing down this beautiful region. It's full of vineyards. It's a UNESCO heritage area as well, so it's protected. Lots of charming villages, small towns. As I said, lots of vineyards and lots of wine tasting involved. We take you to a couple of the smaller towns. One is called Dürnstein in Austria. It's got this beautiful blue-spired church. Only got a population of around 160, so when our ship rocks up, it literally doubles the population straight away. But it's got a beautiful old world theme to it. It's got a gorgeous fortress at the top there. Again, you can hike to the fortress if you want to. And another spot we take you to is the village of Melk in Austria. Now, Melk is very famous for its Benedictine Abbey, which you can see here. Gorgeous building, it really, really is. But it's most famous of all for its library. It's full of gold. And we include, obviously, a visit to Melk Abbey. That all the entrance fees are included, so you don't need to worry about that. The other option is you can do a cycle tour, which is literally from Melk down to a place called Weissenkirchen. So what happens is the ship sails during the afternoon, or you can get on the bike and cycle instead to the next port if you prefer to do that. And then at the end of the itinerary, it really is all about those cities. So we start in Vienna. You get, again, the full day and the evening in Vienna as well. So you get a city tour, you get some free time. You have a shuttle service from the ship to the city. So every 20 minutes, so you can come and go as you please. We do a visit to Schönbrunn Palace up in the north of the city, a wonderful place to visit. And in the evening, we do the Mozart concert as well. So you've got that option too. We then move on to Bratislava in Slovakia, a bit of a new city for tourism. It's only really just opened up, but it's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. Again, it's got an incredible old town. Again, we do the walking tours, we do the cycle tours. We do also do a Taste of Bratislava tour, which is the local food and beer. Or you can take a hike again to the castle right at the top there in your picture. And then finally, the cruise finishes in Budapest in Hungary. Sensational city, definitely one of my favorites. Again, Brian, you'll tell everybody this again, but the ship's dock right in the heart of the city. You know, you are literally 2 minutes away from the Parliament building you see there. So if you want to have your own time to do things, then you can go off and potter and do your own thing quite easily. But again, you've got those included excursions, the city tours, the bike tours. It's all included for for you whilst you're visiting Budapest. So that's a quick run of the Danube River. If you want to stay longer, like you can do the Prague pre-cruise, you can actually do a Budapest post-cruise as well. So we do a 2-night extension there at the end if you want to extend your holiday. So plenty of things to do. And also lastly, with the Danube, in fact, the Rhine as well, the great thing again with river cruising, it's not just the summer months only. You know, we have departures from March all the way through to the end of December. So you can do Christmas cruises, you can do New Year cruises, and of course, the incredibly beautiful Christmas markets, which run from early December round to about Christmas Eve. But the Germans, the Austrians certainly know how to do Christmas. It is absolutely amazing, a fantastic place to go to experience a Christmas market. The festivities there are second to none. They really, really are. Really beautiful thing to do. So you'll be able to do that too. Now, as I mentioned earlier, plenty of rivers to choose from in Europe. But if you want to, you can actually do them all in one holiday. So just a bit of a different style of cruise. You've probably heard of world cruises on the ocean ships. Well, we at Amber Waterways have our very own river version of that. We call it a 7-river journey. It will take you through 7 rivers through 14 countries. It's 46 nights, and it's going to be running on the 1st of June 2023. Just something a bit different. If you fancy doing everything at once and you've got the time to do it, then that might be an option. And Kieran, Paula, and Austin there will be able to give you more information over at Platinum Travel, but just something a little bit different if you want a longer cruise experience. And then last but not least, before we pass on to Brian, this is really exciting. I mean, I just cannot wait to go to Egypt. It's been on my bucket list for ages. And just can't wait to go there. And this really is something else. It's a holiday called Secrets of Egypt and the Nile. It's not just a cruise. So what you'll do, you'll fly from Ireland to Cairo. We'll stay 3 nights at the wonderful Four Seasons first residence right on the banks of the Nile River. We include all the excursions. So you'll get the trips to the King Tut Museum. You'll get the pyramids, the Sphinx included there, the markets, the old town. All of that's included for you. Then we'll fly you down to Luxor. You'll get 7 nights on board the wonderful Amadalia, a gorgeous ship. I've got just a couple of pictures which I'll show you in a second before I finish. And on that cruise, you'll get to experience temples and tombs, private tours as well. You'll go to the Nubian village. The Nubian people is a very rich culture down in that part of Egypt, so we'll take you there as well. There's an option to go to Abu Simbel if you want to, and then at the end of the cruise, we'll fly you back to Cairo for 1 more night at the Four Seasons before you head home. We also include a farewell lunch at the Presidential Palace in Cairo as well. A really, really incredible trip. It's going to be running from September this year, all the way through to, well, it's on sale now all the way through to the end of 2023. So plenty of departure dates there to choose from. The only months we don't go, you can't go in June, July and August because it's just too hot. It's around 45 degrees, so not great for touring. So apart from that, you can go pretty much any other month of the year. And the ship itself, it's gorgeous. I mean, these are obviously artist impressions, but the Amadalia, 68 guests. It's got window staterooms, balcony staterooms. It's got suites. It's got the most incredibly beautiful sun deck area, gorgeous pool, sun lounges. And it's what I love about this. It's done in a very local style, the Nubian style. You know, it's very colourful. We want to make our ships very authentic to the regions they go to. So it's got a real personality about it. So you've got these kind of cushion areas, really great ambiance on board. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So again, if you want more information on our Egypt program, then please do speak to the guys at Platinum Travel and they'll be able to help you out. So just to summarize, before I finish, my God, I think I've done 20 minutes. That's not bad for me. I normally waffle on longer than that. So I'm glad I managed to keep to time today. All included, literally everything you need to worry about is included in your fare. All your dining on board, including that amazing chef's table restaurant, all your wine, beer and soft drinks during meal times, the sip and sail cocktail hour pre-dinner, that's included as well. Tea and coffee and bottled waters 24/7. All those incredible short excursions I mentioned, the wellness program, that wonderful champagne yoga, which Kira's going to demonstrate later on. The Wi-Fi in-house movie channels, that's all included as well. All built in there for you. We've got some sensational early booking savings at the moment, up to €11.50 there. Flights available from Dublin. The other thing is, if you do travel on your own, we do have solar supplements at 0%. So there are some rivers, the French rivers in particular, where we have 0% solar supplements. On a lot of the other ships, it's as little as 10%. So you don't have to pay the earth if you do travel on your own. And just really as a big thank you for giving up your time to spend with us this evening and with Platinum Travel and their inspirational travel evenings. We'd like to extend an additional €150 per couple saving. That's on top of all the other savings we're doing. If you decide you do want to do an Amber Waterways cruise, you book by the 7th of April, we'll add that on for you as well. So that's about it from me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I think we'll move back to you, Kira, before you introduce Brian.
Absolutely. Wow. My goodness, I'm blown away. And I tell you, I've learned more in that presentation, even though you're telling us there's always something new to tell us about Amber Waterways, which is fantastic. I'm going to briefly tell everybody there will be no champagne yoga by me. Paul,
it's a shame. Come on.
Don't want to harm people for life doing that type of thing. I'm sure Paul has loads of questions, but first of all, myself, I have to say I was absolutely blown away. A quick question that comes to mind straight away is the forward bookings. I mean, looking at the likes of Egypt and Seven Wonders, are you finding people are booking that far in advance already, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to remember as well, because the ships were suspended last year in the majority of cases. We had the one on the Rhine, but a lot of people were rebooking 2020 to 21 and then also into 22.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You will find, I mean, the inventory already, it's around 35% sold for 2022. So yeah, people are booking a little bit earlier than they used to for river. It used to be kind of a last minute booking window for river cruising, but it's had to be a little bit earlier now because people are rebooking from 2020 to 2021, 21 to 22. So yeah, I mean, you can book pretty much any time you want, but yeah, that's why 2023 is on sale now, because some rivers like the Douro in Portugal get really booked up. So we have to take bookings down for 2023.
And the seven what's the exact name? The Seven River Journey that goes over 14 countries. I mean, 46 nights. Do you move from ship to ship? Is it the same ship?
Yeah. There's 4 ships. It's not one. Yeah. So you start in Paris, and then there's a kind of train transfer to the next river and the next ship, and then there's a train transfer to the 3rd ship. But you're on the 3rd ship actually for about 25 days. So quite a long time on the 3rd ship, and the last ship you're on for around 14 days. So. Yeah. It's something a little bit different, but it's caught a lot of imagination, and it's gone really well. So we're looking at a 2nd date actually in the springtime to journey as well. It's a bit like a rock cruise, absolutely.
Yeah, that's really bucket list trips. I have more stuff written down, but Paul, I'll let you start with questions there in case you thought of anything.
Yeah, there's just some questions come in here. Aidan has just asked, the trip from Prague to Budapest, is that 7 nights? Or is that the add-on? What's the duration once you add on Prague?
Yeah, sure. So the river cruise is 7 nights. The Prague is 3 nights. So if you do the Prague and then the river, it's 10 nights. Excellent. And then you've got the option of 2 nights in Budapest at the end if you want to as well.
Okay. Fiona's asking, is there a fitness level required? She's just thinking if she was traveling with older members of the family.
No, not at all. The great thing is, I mean, Brian, you'll probably agree with this one, is if you do a walking tour, for instance, we have 3 different levels. So you've got an active, you've got a regular, and you've got a gentle. So guests can choose what they want to do. So if you've got long legs like me and you walk really quick, then you can do the active walking tour. But if you want a much slower pace, then you've got the gentle ones as well. So absolutely fine. There's different pace levels for everybody.
Okay, Carmel's asking, how safe is it going to Egypt at the moment?
Yeah, do you know, Egypt is one of the safer places. It's not really had, on the COVID point of view, it's not had actually many cases. I mean, we would choose to go there earlier if there were any travel restrictions were lifted. So it's not too bad at all. As far as the destination's concerned, yeah, I mean, obviously it had its troubles back in a few years back, but that's all kind of okay now. So yeah, it's a very safe destination.
Excellent. And 2 more. A key attraction of a river cruise, this is from Steve, is the camaraderie on board and the chance to mix and mingle with fellow guests. How will the Amber Waterways guest experience differ with the new health and safety measure on board in post-COVID world?
Okay, well, number one, I mean, you saw the picture at the beginning with the screens and things like that. I mean, hoping we won't have to we're hoping we don't have to adopt those in the future, but if we do, they're there in place. I mean, I don't anticipate that happening. I think we're looking at sailing in the summer. I think the way things are going at the moment, it's promising that we won't have to adopt those protocols. It's just if we do, then they're there to protect, obviously, guests and crew alike. But yeah, he's absolutely right. I agree with the question entirely. River cruising is and will always be a real social way of traveling. You can mingle with the guests and interact with the guests, and that's gonna remain the same. If we do need to put those screens up every now and again, then we will. Out on the deck though, apart from a little bit of social distancing, you know, it's an easy place to interact. So, and the short excursions, small groups, again, you can interact on those short excursions.
It's perfect for a post-COVID world. River cruising is absolutely ideal for people not wanting the big crowds, wanting that kind of service, you know, irrespective of whatever brand. And I think John's painted a great picture there, river cruising. And I think, you know, it'll always be small numbers. It'll always be personal touch. And I just think it really lends itself to a post-COVID world for people that are nervous, people that want big crowds, that want a personal experience. I think river cruising is definitely the way to go.
And Brian, on that note, actually, and it's something that you and I discussed before, there's also the fear of, do you have to talk to people? Do you have to sit with other people for dinner and all that? You know, and are you with people 24/7? You know, from my feedback from clients and from the one river cruise I did, there's a perfect balance with the clientele that are on board the river cruise in that, you know, there's kind of a nice distance that you're not forced to, because you know what, you don't want to talk. Maybe you have enough.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you might just want. You might be stuck in your house for the last year and a half, and you just want to read a book and by yourself. No, you're right here, because as you do, John, as well, don't you? Like you've got that. I suppose for the two brands, you've got the open seating, so you're not, you know, stuck to, you know, one table. You can kind of move around, and it's, you know, it's such a leisurely way of traveling. And it's just, you can sit on deck and have a glass of wine and you go for a walk. You don't have to do all the excursions. You might take a day off excursions and go off by yourself. And, you know, the beautiful pictures John was showing there of Budapest, and you're 2 streets over from the main street. You might want to go shopping with your partner that you're traveling with. You might be a solo traveler and you might want to go off on a bike ride. So yeah, it lends itself to being sociable, but you can have your own time.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always a space somewhere on the ship, Kira, that you can play. And I mean, the other thing is, if you wanted to dine on your own in dinner, although we don't have tables of 2 per se, you can have a quiet with the maitre d', you know, and just go to a table of 4 and just say, you know, we've got more tables than guests. So you can quite easily ask the maitre d' to say, can you just remove the other 2 seating places, and you'll be on your own. So it's absolutely fine to do that as well.
Yeah, it's that attention to detail, and actually
personal. Yeah.
Exactly, which both Anna and Uniworld are. And that spin off to one last thing I wanted to say, which I'm sure you'll touch on as well, and you did, Brian, is the solo traveller side. And it's ideal. I mean, the amount of solo travellers we have going on river cruises now, because it's just the perfect size for meeting people, but not meeting people, being on your own, being minded, but having freedom. It kind of takes an awful. Would you both agree on that? Would you find that solo travellers doing more and more?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. I mean, solo travelers on ocean ships, I just think sometimes when you're on a ship of 3,000-4,000 guests, you can get a little bit lost if you're traveling on your own. Of 100, 120, you know, you're part of that kind of camaraderie, if you like, and you're on those small excursions with 12, 14 like-minded people. So it's a great way for solo travelers to travel.
Totally agree.
Brilliant stuff.
The final question at the moment is, what type of age group do you typically see on board a river cruise?
You know, it's gone younger. It's got younger over the time. All this wellness that we do, and there's champagne yoga and stuff. You know, the average last year was 53. It's probably very similar with Brian at Uniworld. I mean, it does range from people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, all the way through. But the average last year was 53. Last year, the year before last, I'm still stuck in a time warp somewhere. 2019, we didn't do much in 2020.
No, I know. There's one question I don't know if you saw come in the chat box there from Mars. Fear of flying. Yeah,
I was just typing your reply here. Yeah, he's a fear of flying, and can he join the ship on embarkation? So I was just going to explain to him that at the moment they aren't departing from Dublin. So unfortunately, Mars, you would have to fly to one of the destinations to join them. But it's definitely worth trying to bridge that fear and get there. They're beautiful.
Yeah,
But in
I mean, there are, sorry if I just mention on that, there are rail options as well, but probably more from the UK mainland. But if you can get over to the UK mainland and travel by rail, the tunnel, there's options there.
Yeah, exactly. So if they wanted to get the ferry and drive over, or you can do, there's lots of, okay, myself and Paul and the guys in Platinum, we can do the add-ons before and afterwards. So if you want to cruise from, wherever it is in Europe, you want to cruise, and we've had people do, rail and drive all over Europe. We can do that too. So I mean, I wish we had. I mean, we only have really the Shannon, and I don't think we're going to see any. I know we've other rivers. We're talking about the longest river. Any Am or Uniworld going up and down yet. Yes.
You never know.
Yes.
You never know.
You never know. So that's fantastic. John, I'm sure we'll have more questions at the other end of Brian's presentation that you can hop in on as well. So
no worries.
Exactly. Yeah. So while you're getting yours there ready, Brian, we'll just going to get you ready up here just so everybody knows who you are. And when you're ready, just get ready to share, Brian, and you can take over.
Yep. Just
don't forget to tick those boxes we talked about.
Don't you worry, I'm glued on this evening.
If everybody knows we're not used to doing these, so we're only getting started. Right, I'll mute and let you take
Lovely. Now can you guys see me there? Everything all good?
Perfect. You can see everything fine. Absolutely. And if you need us to hop in or out, just say so. We're here watching. So yeah, no, it looks perfect my end. If anybody can't see or hear, just pop in the chat box as normal. We're keeping an eye. Thanks, Brian.
Perfect. Thank you, Ciara. John, that was excellent. I think you've done a really good job of summarizing river cruising and kind of putting it all into a really kind of attractive proposition. I just think it's exactly it. And listen, we're two separate brands, but I think there's a lot of kind of similarities there, family owned, and really all about the service and the experience. And I just think it's if you haven't done it before, river cruising, whatever brand you are going to go with, is an amazing holiday. And essentially difference in brands, and I'll go through the differences between ourselves and AMA, but it's really down to personal choice and preference, really. John was saying that I've seen some of the ships, the AMA ships, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The ones I've seen along the Danube are absolutely stunning. But I suppose where we would be more of a boutique-y feel. We kind of have a more of a boutique feel, and that comes from our owners. So the company that own Uniworld actually own a hotel group called the Red Carnation Group. If you don't know the name Red Carnation, it's not a big brand that maybe people would be familiar with, but we do own Ashford Castle and the Lodge Oisin Kong in County Mayo, and we will be having a new hotel in Dublin, hopefully next year, in Hatch Hall as well. So boutique style, and essentially what happens is the people who do the hotels, they have the synergy with our ships, and they then style and decorate our ships in the same Red Carnation feel. So very much a unique feel, unique proposition. Again, this just comes down to your own personal likings of style and what you like. Is it contemporary? Is it a little bit more boutique feel? So just down to personal preference. But I think I've got a little video here which will play, and this will give you an idea of what's coming up in our ships.
How do you elevate the #1 river cruise line? We have a few ideas. It's the #1 river cruise line like you've never seen it before. 4 new super ships coming soon.
So there's a little taster. A lot of those ships were due to launch last year, but we didn't get to launch them. So we're going to roll them on into this year, at the end of this year. And we've got some beautiful ships. So what I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to go over too much of what John done. I think he's done a great way of really selling the rivers and identifying the brand that he's working with as well. I think it's a really, really lovely brand. This is we're slightly different in how we look and feel and service, and maybe excursions that we have are something that we really focus on as well. But I've got to talk about Venice because we've got a new ship there. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to get Paul to give me a hand with that because she's actually done that itinerary. And I'm also going to touch on an extension that we have, which is new for this year, which is a rail extension, which people may not know. So brand new for this year. And then I'm going to finish on the new ship we have over in the Mekong in Vietnam and Cambodia as well. So a couple of new things that if you are familiar with Uniworld, if you've been with us before, you may not have seen. So again, the whole thing that John touched on there, river, very, very safe way of actually traveling. When there was a shutdown in sailings last year in cruisings in the ocean, they didn't stop the rivers. And I think that's why AMO were able to travel last year, which is actually absolutely fantastic. Small ships, we average about 130 on our ships. So again, very, very small. You got lots. It's surprising, as John said, lots of room on board, and a truly immersive experience. As John was saying as well, when you're traveling down the Danube, you're taking on food every day. You're in Bratislava, Budapest, you're in Hungary and Austria and Germany. You're taking on local wines. We do exactly the same as well. So it's a really, really good way. So just a kind of a quick overview of the river cruise industry, whether it's ourselves or any of our competitors. Average about 130, average about 70 staterooms on board, and I think a lot as well that the crew to passenger ratio is very, very important. So you really get that amazing service that you maybe not get as much on the ocean cruise, but ocean cruises are amazing as well. It's just a different kind of product as well that river cruising is. Why Uniworld? Well, every ship is different. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of it. We've got beautiful cuisine on board, farm to table, but it's very homely, and I think very similar to what John was saying. We used to have buffet style in the afternoon, but now obviously in the post-COVID world, we've had to change that around as well. Complimentary premium wine and spirits, so we would have an all-inclusive drinks at any time during the day. So not just with your meals. If you want to have a cocktail at 11 a.m. or you want to have a whiskey as a nightcap, you can drink and have as many drinks as you like at any stage in the day, and that's premium wine and spirits as well. 24-hour room service. Not something I've ever done on board. I've obviously been stuffed, but it's there if you do need it as part of the upfront payment as well. All your gratuities and on board and off board are included. Included your transfers, complimentary bicycles, daily fitness classes. Yeah, not many people doing them, but they are there if you want to do it. Loads of people doing the excursions, and lots of excursions included as well, and Wi-Fi as well, which is really what we want. I suppose coming from a hotel background, we really would focus on the service, and a lot of the staff that we have worked in hotels that the company own, or have been there from 5 to 10 years, and are really all about the smaller things. It's very relaxed on board. We would be casual during the day, shorts and t-shirts, no problem whatsoever. In the evening time, you could wear a shirt, a blazer, you could dress up for a special occasion. But certainly, it's relaxed, opulence, very, very, very relaxed on board. Lots of fun happening, entertainment in the evening, light entertainment, but also you haven't got the entertainment maybe you would have on the cruise ships. But it's very much a kind of chilled out, relaxed atmosphere. And I think that would be the same in the post-COVID world as well. What makes us different, I suppose, each one of our hotels is completely unique. And what we do is we decorate it to the destination that we're traveling in. So you'll see from the examples that I have, we really do. It's all about the detail. And again, this is just down to your own personal preference. Do you like a boutique hotel? Do you like a contemporary? It's all down to your style. As if you were choosing a hotel, what's your preference really between the different brands as well. So this is a super ship, Joie de Vivre, which is in, you pretty much guess it straight away, Moulin Rouge. It's in Paris. So again, very French feel, French fabrics, Parisian cafe style. You know exactly where you are when you're sailing on this ship. One of my favorites, a little bit more contemporary, and you have the chef's table down the bottom left where you can do cooking demonstrations as well. This is the Beatrice. This sails on the Danube, which John went through, which You can see from my comments, it's one of my favorite cruises. I love the Danube, and we have the Beatrice and the Maria Teresa on that as well. Very different ships and styles, but again, on the kind of alcohol point of view, people do like to know that what they've paid up front is exactly what they're going to pay on board. Sorry, you have to pay on board as well. So one of the big benefits we have is that we have an all-inclusive package. Everyone's on it. Unfortunately, if you don't like alcohol, you can have some lovely coffees and stuff like that as well. But anyone who wants a drink on board is on the same package, and it's premium wine and spirits, which is very nice. The wine then is themed locally with where you are in the world, but we'll also have, even if you're in France, you can still get an Italian wine as well. So again, we're very much about the food and wine. These are some of my own pictures that I've taken. This would be kind of the evening time, kind of fine dining, but again, it's very kind of heartily and homely during the afternoon. Again, we had buffets previously, but now it's going to be waiter service. But again, if you have I suppose a palate that's maybe you just want, maybe not something as rich, you can have steak, or you can have chicken, or you can have fish as well. So whatever you want, no request is too much. I think maybe previously ocean cruise or river cruise, and people thought that there wasn't, you're dining in the same location every night. Now, these new ships that we're building, and all of our competition are building as well, they'll have multiple dining options as well. So you really have, you've got private dining, you've got dining outside. Again, it's not just dining in the one place all the time, which I think back a couple of years ago, people would maybe have that misconception. And then the experiences that we have. So as part of the company that own Uniworld, we also are part of the company that owns Trafalgar, Luxury Gold, and Inside Vacation. So really premium escorted touring. And we're able to kind of really kind of, use those connections we have to get the most amazing experiences. So we'll have simple ones like just cycling trips and wine experiences, which are absolutely fabulous. But on every trip, there'll be one real kind of highlight experience. I'll touch on the one we're going to have in Venice, but in the top right-hand corner, you'll see the one that we have, the experience that we have in Venice, where we go to a private show, bit of waltzing, some classical music, all within the, what you'd expect from being in the location. But we get picked up on the ship, brought there on our private coaches, 15-20 minute trip in there, and then we go in, and the music session is only for us. So we go in, there could be 20 or 30 people there, or 40, depending on how many coaches that we would bring with us. And it's like a 35-40 minute show just privately for us in Uniworld. We're back on the coach, and you're back on the ship within 15-20 minutes. So a lovely kind of one-off experience. So for those people who have traveled Uniworld before and might be looking for some new information, this is the ship. It used to be the River Countess that we had in Venice. And we've taken it and we've brought the dry dock, and we've completely elevated. So what we've done is we've stripped out cabins, we've changed all the upholstery, we've added in new private dining areas, and this is the SS La Venezia, which is a ship which is basically sails around the Venice Lagoon. Now, Paula, I know you actually have done this cruise, not on this ship, obviously, but you've done the week in the gems of northern Italy. How did you enjoy that?
I absolutely loved it. We travelled on the River Countess, and it was just a stunning, beautiful ship. So I can only imagine the luxury of this one, since it's been elevated. It's now and turned into a super ship. I've always described it as understated elegance. It's luxurious. It's beautiful, but at the same time, it's not stuffy. The attention to detail from the staff is just fantastic. You feel very comfortable.
Yeah, it is.
The small walks of life, and you just feel you're made to feel comfortable.
Yeah, I think that's river cruising. I just think that's river cruising. It's just a relaxed atmosphere. And but I would say, where John would have said that the Danube is probably for a first timer, I completely agree. I think this trip is probably for someone maybe who's river cruised before. It's not your traditional multi-country river cruise. You spend a lot of time in the Venice Lagoon. So it is kind of for maybe a second timer or a third timer. But again,
absolutely, yeah. And it's just the choice of excursions. I mean, I've done the Danube as well, and I was just watching John's photos, and it brought back memories, and it's stunning.
Beautiful,
it's
yeah, I love the Danube. Yeah.
And the two of them are they're completely different trips. But that's the brilliant thing about river cruising. I mean, you're on the ship, you step off, or like you step off the ship, and you're in the center of everything. You're close by, like within walking distance of St. Mark's Square. I know Fiona there asked a question earlier on about the excursions and for more senior people traveling. I mean, for example, when we did the walking tour of Venice, we got off the ship and we walked through the beautiful alleyways up through Venice into St. Mark's Square, whereas some other passengers who preferred to do something a little bit more leisurely were given the water taxi option. So they literally got the ship and just literally just down a little bit down the lagoon, but it was just the fact that they didn't have to walk into everything is about comfort. I love the fact that the headsets are used on the excursions, because when you're walking along, you're not trying to catch up with a guide all the time. Every now and again you might hear, we've just stopped here outside wherever, and and just come up when you're ready, and so you can stop and admire and enjoy the surroundings. You don't feel you're just chasing after it.
You don't feel like you're being rushed around. Exactly. It's quite a, river cruising is all about a relaxed atmosphere and a leisurely experience as well. So this we also have an option of adding on 2 nights pre in Milan with this itinerary. But I think the ship is something I'll just kind of show you if you haven't seen it. It's very, very new. We haven't sailed in it yet, but it's inspired by the 1930s Italy. So very, very much about the Murano glass. We've put more dining options in there. Look at that stunning view back over at St. Mark's Square, like absolutely beautiful. In the bottom left again, your private dining. So really kind of elevating the ships to have multiple places to eat and very stylish and unique kind of feel. But I think you have to say the biggest misconception is that, it could be quite stuffy, but river cruising is not that. Even Uniworld, it might look like a boutique hotel, but it's such a relaxed atmosphere on board. And I think that's a major thing as well to kind of focus on, because I know the Red Carnation Uniworld feel. Some people like the feel of it. Some people like the look and love the look. And some people, would like it more contemporary. And that's just down to your personal preference. And, it's down to what you want. So what we did is we put an extra couple of suites on board. This one we had 4, now we have 6. So again, for that special occasion, plenty of time, as Paula said there, to explore Venice. You're literally docked in this beautiful ship, 5-star hotel, and right in the heart of Venice, essentially. So we've got loads of time for you to go off and explore. And as you said, we can stroll around at your own leisure, or you can do the included activities that we do have, which is, I said, really focus on the activities. Uniworld maybe will try to make these unique experiences, and this is one which I absolutely love. So we have an after hours experience in St. Mark's Basilica. So during the day, if you've been to Venice, it's to be absolutely jammed, because it's one of the places to see. So we do our sightseeing during the day. We do a walking tour around Venice. We see the Doge Palace. It's all booked in the morning time. In the afternoon time, then we go back to the ship and we have our lunch and relax. And in the afternoon time, we come down for a private after hours tour of St. Mark's Basilica. So everyone's gone home. It's only the people in Uniworld who want to go there, and we get brought around. So, stunning experience. And there's always going to be one of them on each of the Uniworld trips that we do have. A new addition is an overnight on the island of Murano, which is a beautiful, bright island just in the kind of north of the lagoon in Venice. So again, different to maybe when you done the trip, Paula, but stunning and a unique location. So that's Venice in a nutshell. But just to give you a quick addition, what we've done, which is very unique, is we've chartered the Golden Eagle luxury train. And so what essentially is going to happen for later on this year, touch wood, and next year, is we're going to have an itinerary which does a night in Zurich and then 3 nights on this beautiful sleeper train going through Liechtenstein, Austria, through Lake Bleed, which is absolutely beautiful in Slovenia, and into Venice. And then you have your 7 nights on that amazing new ship. Or it can be done in reverse as well. It can be done at Venice first and then the 3 nights and then overnight in Zurich as well. So this is brand new. We've chartered this train. It's only Uniworld customers on it, and we're going to have Uniworld staff on it as well. So it's going to be a real, for people who love cruising or love trains, this is an absolutely must. I've got a short video of the Golden Eagle, so sit back and relax and enjoy this video. That is the Golden Eagle luxury train, which is going to be chartered by Uniworld, which is going to be going from Zurich to Venice and back again. We can give you some more information on the website. I won't go into too much more detail because it's not river cruising, but just something very, very unique for 2021 and 2022. And it's been a really good success. There's going to be a trip to Istanbul, and I think as well we're going to be looking at doing the Trans-Siberian as well with these guys, and making it a Uniworld experience as well. So the last couple of minutes, I'll bring us completely over the far side of the world. My favorite location in the world. I love this. I've been this neck of the woods. I've cruised this river, not in this style or luxury. And I know Paula wanted to get over here. I think it was your 21st birthday this year. Was it last year, Paula? I think you want to get over here for a special occasion. Maybe next year.
30.
Okay, this is the Vietnam, Cambodia, 13-day, 12-night, Ho Chi Minh to Siem Reap to Ho Chi Minh. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful itinerary. If you start from, you can go into Vietnam and into Ho Chi Minh. We do 2 nights in Ho Chi Minh. Really good sightseeing there. We stay in a beautiful hotel, the Park Regency there. Stunning. We then get brought down. We get on the river on day 3, and we do a beautiful 7-night experience there. So we sail through Vietnam. We're doing small little village excursions along the way, sleeping on this beautiful ship that I'm going to show you. Then we go into Phnom Penh, which is the capital of Cambodia. Lots of history. We do the killing fields there for those people who have a big interest in history. I've done that myself. It's harrowing, but it's very, very worth doing. Absolutely, big history buff. And then we go up to one of the highlights. We go up to Siem Reap. We disembark and we spend 3 nights then in a beautiful hotel post trip, and we go and do Siem Reap and Angkor Wat. Absolutely amazing, one-off, trip. And again, you can have an additional add-on. You can go up to Hanoi and do Halong Bay as well. So I want to show you briefly, just before I finish up, it's kind of hitting my time, is a brand new ship. We only have 68 guests on this one, and there's some brilliant pricing that we've given Platinum, and the guys are going to put it up on the website for. The departure is actually at the end of this year, so fingers crossed. We expect to be sailing in Europe in June. Hopefully, Amma and we're all sailing back. But this is a great trip for later on in the year. Perfect time to do it in December or into January, February, March in next year. This is the brand new Mekong Jewel, purpose built for the river. It's only sailed a couple of times. We were about to give it a big launch last year, but we didn't get to do it. But let me show you some of it. This is all suite. So all suite on this one. So stunning interior. You can imagine walking down, it's like something out of the Titanic, with the, coming down the steps. What a way to see the Mekong, absolutely stunning. And then we have a picture of some of the interior as well. So very luxurious, but some amazing prices we have there for this type of itinerary. And again, the guys can do your pre-night, post-night. They can stop over on the way over, maybe into Bangkok afterwards, or stop in Dubai, or go down to the beach in Thailand afterwards. And amazing. But so this is kind of pictures are just fresh off the press. So don't have too much more information on the breakdown of the itinerary. It's just being finalized as well. But these are pictures that we haven't even released to the press yet. So these are kind of a first view. So the Mekong Jewel is the jewel of the Mekong. And if you're looking for something unique, birthday, special occasion, or just a post-COVID splurge, contact the guys in Platinum Travel. They are the experts, and they'll be able to give you some itinerary. We have some great pricing on that one. We have some fantastic pricing for 30% off for departures this year. We also then have some platinum specials where we can do €150 onboard credit per person as well, and some savings. So if you can contact them, and they'll give you all the details. But that is the Mekong Jewel, and in a nutshell, that is Uniworld Boutique River Cruises. So very, river cruising, John, really encapsulated their amazing product. We just have our own spin on things, our own niche and our own look. But they're two beautiful new ships. If you've been with us before and you want to go again, Venice with that train trip, or we bring you over to Asia, and we'd love to have you in the months and years to come. So back over to you, Kira.
That was brilliant, Brian. It's funny, I'm in this business so long, and yet I still it's so lovely just to sit back and just watch and just dream. And I'm not just saying that because we're all here and it's what we're supposed to be doing tonight, inspiring, but I just love looking at those pictures and those images. And you can nearly feel as you look at the pictures that it's just relaxing and easygoing, and there's no bother on it at all.
People want a holiday. I think we all want a holiday. And yeah. I was looking at the Egypt, and that's on my bucket list, John. And I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh, I'd really like to go to, And we sail the same rivers. We've got product in Egypt. John has product out in the Mekong. So it really is just down to your own personal style and preference.
Hotels and different cars for different people. There's so many different ones. Just a quick thing to go back on for a sec, for anybody that hasn't river cruised before, and I can see there's a note in there from somebody about river cruise versus ocean cruising. If you went right back to basics, what would you say are the main key differences? I mean, obviously oceans and rivers, but I mean the ships are so big.
Yeah, well, I give you basics. The basics of it.
Somebody who's never done it before, and
John hit the nail on the head. Like, oceans connect countries together, but rivers, you sail through them. They can't go there. So accessibility, and having that accessibility of parking or docking in the middle of the city or the middle of town, or on down that beautiful Danube, and being able to get off, and within 2 or 3 minutes you're into the town, the village, the city. So accessibility is number one. You've got 130, 140 people on board. So service, and think about if you're a restaurant and you were kind of turning over 3,000 or 4,000 heads versus 130, 140. So the food is just far superior. And then the staff that are there, it's very much a case of them that it's a personal experience. So I'd say accessibility, the food, and they can't go where we go and we can't go where they go. So they complement each other for people that want, it's a case of, it's not one over the other. It's just down to what experience you want. But I think a post-COVID world, very relaxing way of doing it, very, very safe way, because John has said, we've put all this, this has been tried and tested over the last couple of months, and AMA have been out sailing, and we've all signed up to the CLIA requirements and the WHO requirements. So yeah, as soon as we can get traveling again, I think it's river cruising is a great option for people that are even if you're a little bit nervous, and you've been cocooning for a year and a half, and you don't want to go on a ship with 3,000 people. Like, I think that would give me a little bit of the jitters at the moment. Yeah. Doing the school run is as many people I want to see at the moment. So
I know exactly what you mean. And I think as well, I think cruising as a whole, river and ocean, got such bad press at the time, that really, in fairness, it's just like when you hear, like, unfortunately, about an airplane crash. There are thousands and thousands of aircraft in the sky at any one time, but you hear about one crash and then you think everything is unsafe. And same with COVID, with the cruise, with the ocean cruises, they got such bad press at the time. And in fairness to them, it was only a handful of ships, and there are thousands of ships out there. So, and then people then tend to compartmentalize ocean cruise and river cruise all in the same thing. It's not. They're very, very different.
I think cruising as general is probably one of the safest ways to travel.
Absolutely.
Just the requirements, and even before COVID, I said that's just a bad press that few cases had, but it's just so regulated. It's so hygienic, the staff, the attention to detail, and it's a very safe way. And even in a COVID scenario, they can operate and they can get out and sail. So
I think the hand sanitizers as well. They've been constantly on ships for years.
Yeah, absolutely. And the small little touches as well, like and John said about changing over the buffet. That's one thing. I know we done where we would maybe previously where it was raining and you'd go and ask for an umbrella. They've thought about these things, so there's no sharing umbrellas. Now there's an umbrella in everyone's room. So they've thought of the touch points all the way through, and the fact that the group sizes are small anyway. You could be in a coach with 15, 20 people. So again, it just lends itself. Even if we had COVID, another fourth or fifth wave, and we were allowed to go to the airport, you could still river cruise. You could still river cruise. They can actually manage. You can socially distance. You have all your the whole process from start to finish. The touch points can be managed, but hopefully we're not going to get to that stage. The vaccination program's been rolled out, and people are going to be confident. But if you're anyway worried about traveling again, contact Platinum Travel and see if they can get you a good deal on the river.
That's the great thing about you guys, and John as well. You've given us all the protocols. If anybody wants to know what are the COVID things that have been put in place with AMA or with Uniworld, we can look at them straight away and see them. Which is really
on the website, and both of the websites, within a click of a button.
Everybody has it, and they're all cruise. And you guys have been great in regards to people that had to change and move as well. So
transfer across,
exactly. Now, Paula, any Q's and A's coming in?
Yeah, it's a couple of questions there. There's some comments there. Fiona's feeling completely inspired, which is great. Marion has said she's going on her third Uniworld River Cruise in October. Really superb way of seeing the countries and excellent value for money.
Brilliant.
And then I have two questions here from Aideen. Her first one is, she's done many ocean cruises and has hit one or two rough nights. What's it like on a river cruise? She's assuming that's less rough.
Yeah. Yeah, you're fine. Do there's a ripple up. Now, I suppose there's only one river I would say potentially avoid is maybe the Bordeaux, because you're feeding off the estuary from the Atlantic. It might move a little teeny bit, but it's still nowhere near worrying about,
I think when you're on the Danube, my favorite river, you go into a lot of the canals and you have to get moved up, and that's the only time you ever feel a little bit bumpy, because you're probably 3 or 4 centimeters away from the side, and they're expertly bring them in. And but now again,
it's really a novelty. You're on deck. Watch that when you're going through the locks. It's really an experience in itself.
It is. People are taking pictures of it, and you're but it's not. It's very, very. Again, you're only 10, 15, 20 foot away from the river on each side, so that's a major issue. For people that maybe will be a little bit seasick, you'd be very unlucky to be river sick.
And the other question that Aideen has is, will river cruise companies require travellers to be vaccinated against COVID-19?
I think we're all, as a travel, trade, we're all waiting for someone to make the decision on this, whether it be the airlines or what have you. But at the moment, it's not mandatory, but we're not sailing. We hope to be sailing in June because we're getting a lot of traffic from the UK I know they've tightened down a bit today, but I think that's on a review, I think sometime during May. But I think it may be mandatory, but it's at the moment it's quite a fluid situation. But I think they can operate without having mandatory vaccinations. But let's see what happens in the next weeks and months to come.
Yeah, we're just adhere to all the regulations that need to be put in place. I mean, the other point on that one is actually with river cruising. Brian will say the same. The ships are ready. They're all kind of parked up, ready to go. They can be operational in literally 2 weeks.
Yeah. They're revving up.
Absolutely, they're kind of revving up there. Our problem is getting people to the ships, not actually the ship sailing, it's getting people to the ships. but they're kind of all set up and ready to go. But
yeah, you might find, sorry, John, you might find the single country itineraries might be the ones that start. So, the French, down in Bordeaux, or the Douro, or the Italian one, where you're just dealing with one national government and one rule. But I suppose in the EU there might be an EU-wide decision on that. But let's see what happens. But as John was saying, very flexible in moving this stuff. And obviously, I know you've got the air transport to factor in there, but I know today Aer Lingus have come out and said they're going to transfer or free day changes all the way up to the end of the year. So yeah, so we're all in the same boat. But ship, I call it a ship. But yeah, it's quite a fluid. But I think that's why you book with a travel agent. You book by yourself, and you got all these different factors. Let Paula and Kira worry all about that.
I think the decision made for us across the board. I think on all these things, we just be followed. It's like the mandatory hotel quarantine that came in today. Decision be made for us, and it's all to get out of this in the long run. So yeah,
there's a question coming in there from Helen. I think actually I was picking up. I think we have this.
How the capacity of the ships?
Yeah, I think what we initially assuming there's no vaccinations required, I think we're going to lower the capacity. No exact number. I think it'll be on a case by case. It'll be on a kind of a yield or a case by case basis of how many single people are on board, many single cabins, many doubles. So I would assume it'd be safe to say, I don't know, John would say you could maybe go from 130 and 40 maybe down to like 100, or to see how things are going.
You're pretty spot on there, actually, Brian. When we actually sailed that back end of last year, it was 100. We had to reduce capacity to. So bang on the money.
There we go. We haven't even met before, so this is.
So that's fantastic. I think we have covered so much this evening, and I hope we've answered everybody's questions. And as you say, that there's no question that these lads haven't been asked before, and if we don't know the answer, we know where to find the answer. So if anybody does have any more questions, what we'll do is I'm just going to share my screen with the final slide here, and what we'll do is, excuse me. When this is over, we will keep the screen on for another minute or two, and everybody can, if they have any more questions, they can just, actually, sorry, before we do that, I apologize. Before we finish up, I was going to say we'll keep the screen on in case anybody else has a few last questions for myself and the others if anything comes up. But I hope it has inspired you all. I hope that everybody has felt that river cruising might be for them, and if you haven't tried it before, you want to try it again, now's the time to start planning and thinking about it. We've nothing else to do at the moment, so we may as well plan our holidays. You can email myself, Paul, or any of the gang here. Just pop an email to info@platinumtravel.ie. You've got loads of correspondence from us, and we'll send a follow-up as well from this night. So just for those of you that have registered for the rest of our evenings, we had an evening last night and tonight, and then we have 6 left to go, and we're 2 down already. Tomorrow night, we're a luxury tour and rail evening with Luxury Gold Inside Vacations and Rocky Mountaineer. So Brian, you get to listen to his lovely dulcet tones again tomorrow. He has underneath the same umbrella, our Luxury Gold and Inside Vacations. So if you like what you saw with Uniworld, you're going to like what you see with these guys. And we have Sarah from Rocky Mountaineer. Yeah, which is just the most amazing rail product in Canada. And they've introduced a new USA rail journey, which I won't talk about because she'll introduce it tomorrow. And then on Thursday night, we have 5-star ocean cruising with Silver Sea Cruises, Celebrity Cruises, and Palm. And in another former life, you would have had John Knight here.
I'll tell you.
He moved on to ocean.
I could be back up, Kira, on that one.
Exactly, yeah. And then finally, then the last 4 nights, which are next week, we'll send a reminder out to everybody that's our USA, which will be slightly different. So I won't go into all of that now. So make sure you register if you're not registered already. And I just want to say thank you all for joining us, because you've inspired us by showing your attendance here this evening. It's given us inspiration that people are still wanting to travel and visualize travel and think about travel. So thank you for coming along and giving us the support. We're blown away by the numbers. We can't believe it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And thank you to John and Brian for coming on tonight. They're super at what they do, and I hope they inspired you, because they certainly did with us. So
thanks, Kira. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate
it.
Thank you.
Yeah. there's any questions, we can happily answer them.
Yeah, we'll hang on for a few minutes. And
yeah, I think there was a question there on solo. I don't know what the numbers would be on it, but every sailing I've been on have had numerous people traveling independently. There's always I don't know what the numbers would be, but it might be 10%, maybe might be traveling independently. Perfect way of traveling independently. You have the security, the safety. You're there to meet people. I think it's a great way of an independent traveler seeing lots of places, meeting people, and experiencing a great product.
And especially when you guys are doing the offers, and I know both of you do them, when you do the solo offers, they're amazing.
It's great deals,
absolutely.
It's great offers out there, absolutely, and it's time to take advantage. I mean, these offers don't come, or not all the time, because obviously the demand is always quite high. But if you can get a good deal for the end of this year or for next year for no solo supplement, with John and myself or any of the other brands, listen, let's take advantage of a situation. It's a good advantage.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I want to go over the cruise now. I can't see any more Q&As coming in there. I think everybody's going to sign off then. You can tell us, Paul, if you see any more. And I'll just close it down here. Okay, yeah, I think that's all. I'm just going to close it down now. So